Airbnb is not dead, but it's not what it used to be. Between 2019 and 2022, almost anyone could make money hosting. That era is over now. But in 2025, the hosts who are still winning do something completely different. I analyzed data from over 300 properties in 23 markets to figure out exactly what separates the hosts who are thriving from the ones that are getting squeezed out. And the patterns were clear, and they weren't what most people think. It's not about design, and it's not about amenities. The hosts making the most money right now are doing three things that barely anyone is talking about. So if you're trying to grow your Airbnb business or just stay profitable in this new landscape, these three things will change the way you operate. So let's break them down. The gold rush days of Airbnb are over. And if you're just reading the headlines, you'd think that the whole thing is falling apart. The data paints a way more interesting picture. Right now, thousands of hosts are packing it in. Listings are disappearing. Cities are cracking down, and margins are getting squeezed from every angle. But while most people are tapping out, there's a small group of hosts doing the opposite. They're growing fast. The average host is down 19% in revenue over the last year, but the ones who know what they're doing are still going strong. Some by upwards of 20%. It's the same platform, the same market, but totally different results. And the difference is that the winners stopped treating this like a weekend side hustle and started running it like a real business. They've got pricing systems and not just guesswork. They're picking markets on purpose and not just going with vibes. And they've built things to run consistently, not just hope for bookings. And this isn't the collapse of Airbnb. It's just a reset. And for the people that are willing to adapt, it might be the biggest opportunity since 2019. But you've got to move like a pro, and you can't do it like it used to be done anymore. Here's what's really going on. Insurance costs are up, some by 150% or more. There's cleaning, maintenance, and management, and these are all more expensive now. Local regulations are stricter than ever. New York City now requires hosts to stay on site. That alone has wiped out entire business models. Supply is still climbing, and listings are up over 5% a year since 2013. And more than half of them showed up since 2020. Demand is not keeping up. So prices are falling and competition is brutal. And financing is another aspect. The low rate party is over. A lot of folks who bought in 2020 to 2022 are now staring down the barrel of refinancing at 2 to 3 times their original rate. Margins are gone. Some are already walking away. We're seeing a lot of people shaking out. Listings are actually starting to drop, and hosts are switching to long-term rentals or just cashing out altogether. But here's why this matters to you. If you understand what's changing and play it smart, you can actually come out ahead. And it comes down to 3 things. 1, pick the right markets, not the trendy ones, the smart ones. Places with decent demand and manageable regulation and taxes that won't eat you alive. 2, make your property stand out for real. Not gimmicks, something that guests care about. The views, the location, the layout, the vibe. Have something that other people around you don't have. And 3, run it like a business. Automate the stuff that you can. Price dynamically. Track your numbers. Make data-based decisions. Those 3 pillars are the foundation of a profitable Airbnb in 2024 and beyond. This isn't about luck anymore. It's about building something that actually works predictably. It all starts with picking the right location. If you get that wrong, none of the other stuff matters. Get it right and you're ahead of 90% of hosts before you even open your calendar. But you want to know what's kind of wild? The most profitable Airbnbs usually aren't the ones that are dripping in luxury. I've seen places with $50,000 renovations that still underperform compared to homes with a few smart $5,000 upgrades. Those marble counters and designer chairs might look good on Zillow, but they don't always mean more money in your pocket. The whole Airbnb landscape has shifted. What worked 2 years ago in the travel boom doesn't work anymore. You need a new playbook. New hosts haven't caught on yet. Here's the trap I see people falling into over and over. They focus on trendy interior design and the usual checklist stuff. They do the coffee makers, the smart TVs, and the cute pillows. And sure, that stuff helps, but it's not what drives the profit. We looked at the numbers. Over 300 properties, and the hosts that only focused on looks, their revenue barely moved. Meanwhile, some of the most profitable listings weren't flashy at all. They had three things going for them, and that made all the difference. First, pick the right market. And I'm not talking about where you want to vacation. I'm talking about places with low taxes, loose regulations, and solid demand. The pros do their homework. They avoid cities with short-term rental bans or complicated permit systems. I've seen hosts in high-tax areas lose thousands a year compared to similar homes just across county lines. Second, stand out, but not with gold faucets. The best properties have something unique that you can't easily copy, like killer views or walking distance to a beach or a stadium, or even just an epic backyard setup. Some people are able to charge more because their house has a view, even though the inside is nothing special. Third, make it an experience. Don't just list a place to sleep. Sell a vibe. Maybe it's a cozy romantic spot with a sunset and a hot tub and a bottle of wine. Maybe it's built for families with a game room and bunk beds and a backyard and maybe a trampoline. The top hosts build something for someone, not just for anyone. And here's the key part. They don't just say it, they show it. Their photos tell a story. It's not just empty rooms, but real moments. People hanging by the fire pit, sipping coffee on the porch, kids playing in the yard. Those images sell an experience, not a floor plan. The data is super clear. Profitability isn't about how much you spend. It's about what you focus on. The top earners aren't always the ones who drop big money on high-end finishes. They're the ones who pick smart locations. They're offering something guests couldn't resist and made sure their listings told that story. If you think like a business owner, analyze the market, find your edge, and build around it, you can spend less on fluff and earn more from substance. So, before you pull the trigger on that $15,000 kitchen remodel or the custom furniture, stop and ask, is this really what's going to make my listing more profitable? Or should I be thinking about the bigger picture, the stuff that actually moves the needle? And for hosts who actually treat it like a business, this is the biggest opportunity since 2019. The hobbyists are tapping out, which means more room for the folks who know what they're doing or who are willing to learn. Just look at where this is heading. Short-term rentals are projected to hit $172 billion by 2030. That's not a bubble. That's a long runway. And if you're building the right way, you'll be in a prime spot to ride that growth. The ones who win in 2025 won't be the ones with the flashiest furniture or the fanciest lighting fixtures. They'll be the ones that pick smart markets, offer something that stands out, and run lean, efficient operations. While everyone else is busy complaining about how the game has changed, you'll be out here actually winning it.